This morning, it's not about the postcard, it's about the stamp. Here's Conor Knighton.
Inside his home studio in New Orleans, artist Michael Deas can spend months working on a single oil painting. But collectors need only spend a few cents to own a print of his most popular works. His portraits sell for pennies, 32, 37, sometimes 41.
I have a friend who likes to call me the most famous artist you've never heard of.
Deas has created 25 stamps for the U.S. Postal Service. He's not allowed to sign the paintings, which means he may not be a household name. But his subjects are certainly well known. He's responsible for an impressive gallery of American icons.
When you do a stamp, you're supposed to represent that person at the high point of their life.
Deas doesn't choose who's getting the stamp treatment. A citizens committee makes recommendations to the Postmaster General, then an art director assigns the work. Over nearly 3 decades, Deas has been asked to paint everyone from U.S. presidents to Hollywood stars. In the early 1990s, Deas had his own brush with Hollywood when Columbia Pictures commissioned him to redesign its logo. What's it like to see that on the screen?
It's a kick. It's fun to see.
Do you sort of nudge who's ever beside you at the theater? And say,
oh, yeah. Sure, why not?
Despite persistent rumors to the contrary, the Columbia torch lady is not Annette Bening. Deas used New Orleans graphic artist Jenny Joseph to model for his oil painting.
I think I would have remembered if Annette Bening had posed for me.
While Deas typically works off photographs, occasionally he's had to do a bit of posing himself.
I had to paint a portrait of Benjamin Franklin for the cover of Time magazine, and I was having trouble working from the existing portraits of him, so I ultimately ended up using myself as a model, because unfortunately I share the same hairline as Benjamin Franklin.
Deas has painted 6-time covers, primarily presidents. He did magician David Blaine's autobiography, but he keeps coming back to stamps. Is it lucrative?
No, definitely not. And that's why I do it, is because it feels like an honor. I've been asked to do something. I consider it a privilege.
The first stamp Deas ever painted was of author and fellow New Orleans resident Tennessee Williams. In addition to depicting the man himself, Deas wanted to pay tribute to Williams' most famous work.
If you look at that stamp very closely, in the background there's a streetcar. And if you look at it with a magnifying glass, there's a single individual sitting on the streetcar, and that's meant to represent Blanche Dubois, who's the heroine of Streetcar Named Desire.
Deas' most recent stamp, this portrait of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, was released last fall. Current regulations stipulate that an individual must be dead for at least 3 years before they can be honored with a stamp.
When is a stamp not just a stamp?
When it's the one you've been waiting for.
Fans of Marilyn Monroe waited decades for her to finally get the stamp treatment in 1995. Deas says his portrait of her remains the best-selling stamp he's ever created.
I draw everything out in pencil, black and white first.
These days, Deas is devoting more time to his personal work, focusing more on an overall scene than on a specific person.
I've spent 40 years painting a lot of images that other people wanted, and now it's time to paint images for myself.
But he's still accepting stamp commissions. He's currently working on 3 top-secret stamps that will come out in 2026. For Deas, the stamps are a way to go beyond the gallery and get miniature works of art into as many hands as possible. You think about the journey that painting takes?
Often, yes. I try to make every stamp as beautiful as I can, because I think a good stamp, you will notice it. It is not strictly a functional item. If it's done well, it's a little beautiful note on the outside of an envelope, and it can really sort of brighten the thing and become something beautiful. I'm thrilled to do them.